Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about the transit moon making a square opposition or inconjunct aspect to one's natal south node. Now, we're talking about transits that involve the moon. They can be about emotions, feelings, our needs, responses, reactions of the public. And when the transit moon makes basically an adverse aspect to your natal south node, well, this could manifest in the emotions, the feelings, the needs, responses, reactions, the public. It may conflict with your past. You might not feel like dealing with anything that's connected with the past, whether it might be a business or could be a person that was prominent in your life in your past. It could be also too. I mean, the south node is what we're going away from, and when you have this this transit with the moon, it might be harder to go away from or extricate yourself from family members, people you're close to home with. It could be even a prominent female in your life scheme, someone that's in your family. Could be the mother. Now, and if it's, say, if the transit moon is in Leo, it might be somebody that's very domineering, maybe a little overbearing or arrogant, someone very attention-seeking. Now, the thing about these transits, though, is that I don't see them as overly significant because they don't last for a long duration. They last about 10 hours, roughly, on average. So, because the moon, if you're using a 3-degree applying aspect and 2-degree separating aspect, that's 5 degrees total, and the moon moves about 1 degree every 2 hours. So you're looking about 10 hours on average for these transits, and but you do get them frequently. I mean, you're gonna have you're gonna have 2 squares, an opposition, and 2 inconjuncts like every month from the transit moon to the south node, because keep in mind that it takes less than 30 days for the moon to traverse all 12 zodiac signs. So you're going to have like you're going to have about five of these a month. So they do come pretty frequently, but again, I don't see them as overly significant. They don't last that long, and in many instances, you're going to be asleep during the transit, or at least for part of the transit. So anyway, now the thing about this too is the south node is what we're trying to leave behind. So if you're trying to leave, like, say, a home behind as an example, when you're trying to move somewhere else, it might be a little bit harder. It might be more of an arduous task in doing so than usual, or there's some kind of emotional situation that might have caused some sensitivity in your life. That's something that might be a little more difficult than you anticipated in terms of trying to let go of or leaving behind at this point in time. Now, it's also the south node can be connected with our overdeveloped and redundant qualities. So the thing about this is, I mean, it can be a time where you might have, moon-related people might be in conflict with these qualities. Say if your south node is an Aquarius, it might be overly idiosyncratic or unusual behavior, um, being unorthodox. I'm not saying you're going to be climbing the walls. Somebody has this south node in Aquarius, that they're going to be climbing the walls and pretend to be Spider-Man with suction cups on their hands. But the thing about this is, but still, you can, as an example, you can, as far as idiosyncratic behavior, if the south node is an Aquarius, it could be a time where a family member, someone you're close to home with, may simply be completely averse to, or they're not in approval of this. Virgo could be hypochondriac tendencies. Aries could be very warmongering type behavior, constantly instigating fights with others. Um, and the thing about this too is it can be also, you know, the past. The south node can be connected with the past, but if you're a believer in the past life, it can be connected with that. It might be a situation where you might feel you may have known someone from a past life. It might be causing more emotional upsetment than usual. You might simply not feel like dealing with that person. The moon is about the moon. I'm sorry, the moods, the feelings, temperament. So it could be a time where you just simply might not be in the mood to do something, as far as that goes, or simply a person from your past. If you're not a believer in past lives, with South Node can be someone from your past, whether it might be the early childhood or what have you. It might just simply be a situation that you simply do not want to deal with at this time. Now, the South Node can also be connected with what might affect somebody to one's detriment. So it can be a situation when you have this transit moon basically making an adverse aspect to your natal south node. Well, one way that can manifest is that you might not be emotionally up for something, that might be, it might be affecting you, to your basically, to your detriment. I mean, if say if you have this in Leo, and South Node Leo could be very, extravagant energy. Um, it might be something, it might be something that might be causing more emotional upsetment, more so than usual. It can be that home or family member, someone you're close to home with, may be seeing some energy from the South Node that's connected with you that might be affecting you, maybe yourself to your detriment to some degree, and maybe is not in approval of it. It can be a time too when I look at this now. When you have this transit, remember the South Node can also be what we're naturally proficient in. So it can be a situation where the things that you want to do that you're naturally proficient in may conflict maybe with your home life, your introversion at this time. Say if the South Node is in Capricorn in your natal chart, I mean, it might be some kind of business related matter or doing some government work. Maybe it could be something with accounting, dentistry, something, information technology, anything that could be Capricorn related might be something that might be adversarial to your home life, your introverted life, the things that you want to do, maybe in private or people that you're close to home with. It could be, and you might just simply not be in the mood to do those things that you're naturally proficient in. Say if it's South Node as an Aquarius, it could even be something with innovation or astrology or astronomy, as some examples, computers. Uh, Another thing too is that another way that this may manifest this transit, it could be a family member, a mother may be averse to the negative traits that are associated with your natal south node. Say, for example, if your natal south node is in Virgo, maybe there's some kind of hypochondriac tendencies you might be exhibiting, being overly judgmental, maybe over uh, analysis in some cases. I mean, if you have, say, your natal south node in Virgo in the 11th house as an example, it could be over analysis with something with astrology, such as trying to see the Dwad within a Dwad as an example. Um, it might be a situation to mean now. Some cases, remember that the moon is about our past memories. And in some cases, the past memories may impact negatively what you're trying to go away from, which of course that's the south node energy. Let's say the transit moon is in Pisces as an example. It could be maybe there might be some memories from the past, maybe being overly passive or weak-willed, maybe to doing those things you're naturally proficient in, which is the south node. Let's say, for example, the thing about it is we look at, in some cases too, this transit can also be expressed in maybe not feeling like doing the things again that you're naturally proficient. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, say if the South Node is in Scorpio as an example, it could be maybe you don't feel like doing the things that well, let me be kind and rewind. Say again, this transit can be expressed in maybe not feeling like doing the things you're naturally proficient in. If the South Node is in Scorpio as an example, it could be just simply being resourceful or doing something connected with deep research, investigation, going beyond subterfuge and what's superficial, as some examples. Now, it may also be where you have a harder time in responding, which is the moon. The moon, again, is about reactions and responses. It could be to someone from your past, which is the South Node. Now, say, for example, if the natal South Node is in Sagittarius, it might be a professor or somebody in sports, a translator, maybe a foreigner, someone from another country, from your past. Now, some cases too, I would think, because the moon anatomically, it's connected with the stomach, chest, breast, water retention. There can be issues maybe with one of those things that might be harder to get away from, because remember, the South Node is what we need to go away from. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.